Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a regular session of council. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead us in that pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record reflect that we have all council members in attendance. To begin, for our approval of the minutes, I'm going to read over the closed meeting statement on June 12th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall. There was a motion for a closed session made by Councilmember Cheney with a second by Tillman. All council members were in favor. In accordance to Maryland Open Meeting Act, Title 10, Governmental Procedures, Subtitle 5, Meeting Section 3-305B, this meeting was closed in order to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Topics discussed during this were the Taneytown Police Department chief appointment and Taneytown Police Department promotions. Persons present were the mayor, the attorney, the city manager, and the clerk, as well as all members of council. Does that satisfy their reading for the closed meeting?
I think there's more to it, isn't there? Is there another section, Clara?
Oh, my apologies. Actions taken during this closed session. Mayor Merrill asked for discussion regarding his potential appointment of Bob Mitchell as Taneytown Police Department. After discussion, the council, by consensus, indicated that they would not confirm that appointment. The mayor and council discussed the police chief hiring process and agreed to begin the process immediately by creating a hiring plan, and further indicated that no internal candidate would be considered for the position. The mayor and council gave a directive to the city manager to prepare a promotion process plan for consideration and approval for promotions within the Taneytown Police Department. Motion to adjourn at 7:23 p.m. by Foster with a second by Tillman, carried 5-0. Does that satisfy it?
Yes, I think you're good.
Sounds good. And that will be in the approval of minutes along with the approval of minutes of May 3, 2023, May 8th, 2023 regular meeting, and May 8th, 2023 closed session, and May 31st open and closed session. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of those meetings.
So moved.
I'm looking for a second.
I will second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. I will now ask if any council members have any conflicts of interest regarding agenda items. It appears that we have none. We will now move to resolutions, ordinances, and agreements. On the introduction of ordinance 05-2023-community village revisions, Jay, just to check, do we need a motion for the introduction of an ordinance, or are we good to carry forward?
There's my camera's on. We typically have done so in the past because your code section 7-16 says matters that go before the council must be sponsored, which means a council person has to do that. So this takes the place of that, where you have a motion and a second and a vote to show that it's complying with that section.
Just to be safe, let's go ahead. I'm looking for a motion to approve ordinance 05-2023.
Introduce.
My bad. The introduction of ordinance 05-2023-community village revisions. I'm looking for a motion.
Make that motion.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. I am now moving over to the adoption of resolution 2023-08 water allocation for June. On this, I'm looking for a motion of approval of the adoption. Would anyone like to make that motion?
I move we approve the water allocation for June.
I'm looking for a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. Do we have any questions regarding the city manager report, departmental report, legal report? Jim, I think you have something for us, correct?
Just a quick follow-up on the question about the financial report from the workshop. Yes, that was indeed largely capital items that are going to be carried over into the next year. The treasurer also reminded me that we had a very mild winter, So we did not spend nearly
Any
what we
money?
budgeted for snow removal and overtime there. And also with our vacancies within the police department, our salary there is well under budget. So, but the big items are capital.
Right.
I did want to just add one bit of good news. I followed up with the State Highway Administration, and the lead pedestrian interval for the pedestrian signals at 140 and 194 was approved by State Highway. So at this point, they need to revise the phase diagram on the signal plan, so it's just a matter of waiting now, but it was approved. And also, State Highway is supposed to be returning the in-street sign at the Middle Street crosswalk that got wiped out a few times when it was first put up, and then they stopped putting it back up. So that I was expecting to have happened sooner, but apparently the Westminster shop is out of stock of those signs, and the vendor is not able to provide them, so they're trying to source it from a different vendor. So again, that should be coming back, but SHA is just having problems getting the actual sign to put back in the road. But at any rate, good news that we were approved for that lead pedestrian interval. And if there's any questions on my report or departmental reports, please let me know.
Sounds good. We are moving forward into new business. The
Do we
month-
need to approve his report or?
do we-
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. We are moving into the monthly financial report. I am looking for a motion on, I guess, approval of the monthly financial report. Would anybody like to make that motion?
So moved.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. On next,
Did
we
we
are,
skip the water?
Departmental reports?
No, the
Legal report. Was there anything to
water
add?
allocation.
We did that.
We just voted on that.
Oh, we did it.
I know you're.
I asked it. Okay.
up next, we have the accounts payable. I'm looking for a motion to approve the accounts payable. Would anybody like to make that motion?
Make a motion to pay the counts, pay the bills.
Sounds good. I'm looking for a second on that.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Acting police chief duties is on our list. We came to the consensus that there would not be an internal hire on it, and we've already talked about it for the closed session. Jim, should I say anything else on the matter, or are we sufficiently at where we're at?
I think we have the direction we need.
Sounds good. We will move on to the next memorandum of understanding. Carroll County State's Attorneys. I'm looking for an approval of the memorandum of understanding in the form of a motion.
Make a motion to approve the memo of understanding between the city and the Carroll County State's Attorney.
I'm looking for a second on that.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I'm now moving over to the Juneteenth holiday discussion. Everybody should have seen the resolution on this. If council would like to go ahead and add Juneteenth as a holiday for the city, which would follow track with the state and county.
Does that have any budgetary impact, Jim?
Very minimal. So we do have staff in Public Works that work, basically we have to do some work at the treatment plant and check all the well houses every day. So that would mean overtime for that person that would be on call for that day, as well as for the police officers that would work that holiday. So in both of those departments for the current year, you know, we're under budget in Public Works for overtime. And we are, of course, at year end, we look at our budget departmentally and not line item by line item. So while we may be, I'm not sure exactly where we are on police overtime, but we're well under on police salary. So departmental wise, there's plenty to absorb it. And we're talking about a very modest dollar impact as well. So shouldn't be something we need to do.
Going forward,
amendment
it'll
for
be
going
budgeted
forward
going
either.
forward. then.
Right, going forward, we should be fine.
I'm looking for a motion on approval, or should I do a consensus first on whether we want to do this and then go to a motion for approval for the amendment to the personal manual?
I think we
Personnel
can just go
manual?
right to a motion.
Or do we want to go straight to manual? I mean,
It's kind of up
let's
to
go
you.
straight to, I'm looking for approval of the amendments to the personnel manual to add Juneteenth as a holiday for the city. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. Next, we have chicken husbandry. On this, I'm simple yes or no consensus by council on whether we are allowing chicken husbandry in the city limits. From there, if we have a yes, city staff will go ahead and start getting resolution examples in place for us, and we can look at it next month.
If I recall the discussion from Wednesday night accurately, I think the idea was to discuss this with your peers at the MML conference to see what their experiences have been, and then bring it back in July to provide consensus for staff to pursue it or not.
That's what I recall also.
On whether we want the chickens.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Has there been issues, insurmountable issues under the current situation?
It certainly creates enforcement issues for us. When individuals call the city asking if they can have chickens, they're told, no, the code prohibits animal husbandry. Some people go ahead and have them. Some people say, well, the code doesn't tell me what kind of pet I can have. And then when the code enforcement officer gets a complaint about someone who perhaps doesn't properly maintain their coop or their area, then we're at kind of an.
Could we construct anything we do regarding chicken husbandry, tie it to a, zoning appeals situation where they'd have to come before maybe zoning appeals, maybe it'd be a special exception, what I'm thinking of. And then if the neighbors, I'm concerned about the neighbors. I mean, for every one person that wants chickens, there's 4 people that don't. And I'm just, would like the neighbors surrounding the chicken farm to be able to voice their opinion.
Certainly, if the consensus is to move forward and create legislation on how to regulate them, we can talk about, whether it's a permitted use or a special exception use. We can talk about setbacks for a coop, that they've got to be so far from a property line, so perhaps it rules out having them in a townhouse community. So we can do, whatever, but I think, what we're looking for after you have the opportunity to discuss it a little further, unless you want to make a decision tonight, we just need the go, no-go on whether or not to develop those regulations. Right now, the law says no, and that's what we tell people, but again, our code doesn't specifically define animal husbandry. So I think that would be helpful regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Would
was
be,
gonna
would
say,
be if we add
is
that
the starting
definition.
point.
Right.
Yeah, because
So-
I think that's where the grayness comes in, is in the definition.
Mhm.
We've allowed some grayness in the definition, but you always got somebody who's going to carry it too far.
And that's the issue.
And
with-
that,
with-
right, and that's the whole issue, right? If we're going to say we can, we're allowing this, then we need to codify what we're going to allow, because if we don't, we'll find ourselves in a situation where somebody's gonna take us to court over chickens
And that's
or
essentially
cows
why I even
or.
put it on here, is I received a message stating, hey, I've heard from Facebook that, a council member has said we're allowed to have chickens, but your ordinance says you're not. Somebody just pulled up my sign because they said I'm not allowed to have this sign, so you're enforcing this ordinance, but you're not enforcing this ordinance, but you're enforcing this ordinance on me.
We can't get into that business.
And we can't. And I talked with, at the MML dinner, I talked with some of the other mayors, and they said that's part of the reason why they've kind of defined it a bit more, so they don't have to deal with those kind of issues. You can't pick and choose what you enforce, because it creates leaps and bounds of issues.
All right,
So,
so that's, I think that's a
Back to
suitable
July.
plan that we can go, since MML's coming up in a couple of weeks, we can
That's
talk
probably good
with our
decision.
peers, find out who does what, how they do it.
do we
and
want to
let's-
start maybe some legislation building, or wait till after?
I think we'll have time when we get back, because our next meeting is until 12th or something like that. When's the 10th? I don't have my calendar up
Yeah,
in front of
10.
me.
I think it's 5 and 10.
The 5th and the 10th, so
Right, 5th and 10th.
we got a little bit of time to, we're not going to write the ordinance in the meantime, but we can certainly come to a consensus at those meetings about whether or not we're going to write one.
And I think if we do wait a month, wait until July, maybe those conversations you can have at the MML conference might also, we can certainly research other municipalities' codes. I know Jay's works with a town that has passed legislation. And I know a couple towns here in Carroll County have passed legislation as well. But what would be very interesting would be for those communities that have decided to allow them, would they have done something differently? Are they
Find out what
seeing
their
any
experience has
particular
been since-
issues? Right, what is your experience with it so far? And maybe we can take some of that under advisement and try to craft our ordinance to maybe address some things that other municipalities didn't think of when they created their ordinance. So that's like, a perfect example of where that interaction at MML can really pay off.
Okay.
So should I look for a motion to table this until July or consensus to table this until July just to be on the safe side? I know we said it at the workshop, but I'm not sure this is where we officially kind of put it off.
I think we would carry it to July.
Carry it to July.
I don't think the
Okay.
term table is really
Okay,
appropriate
nice.
there.
Next, moving on, we have the acceptance of Meadowbrook Section 6. I'm looking for a motion on the acceptance of Meadowbrook Section 6 as presented to us.
Make a motion to approve.
I am looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Next, we have the Head Start lease renewal, year-to-year renewal. I'm looking for a motion to approve the Head Start lease renewal.
Make a motion to approve the lease for Head Start.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second that motion again.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Next, we have the approval of fiscal year 2024 town/county agreement. I am looking for a motion for the approval of fiscal year 2024 town/county agreement.
Motion to approve.
I'm looking for a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Last on new business, we have the approval of contract amendment, Eckers Lawn Service. This was the addition of more grass to cut. I'm looking for a motion on approval of contract amendment, Eckers Lawn Service LLC.
So moved.
I'm looking for a second.
I will second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Last, we have the council member reports.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I think we skipped over legal report. I'm not sure if the city attorney has any more for us or not, but
I thought I
think we,
included it in the overall reports, my bad. Jay, did you have a legal report for us?
I just wanted to let you all know that about the MOU with the state's attorney's office. The state's attorney's office is following this. They did actually reach out today to make sure you didn't have any questions and that they were looking forward to working with us. So, this isn't, they're not doing it blindly. They actually followed up on this and knew it was on your agenda tonight. So it's a good relationship we're going to have.
Good.
With that out of the way, I'm going down to council member reports, starting down at the end of the row with Councilmember Tillman.
I don't have a full written report right now, but I can say that there's a lot going on in front of the Planning Commission at this time. And not the least of which was the review of the Community Village ordinance. And I think that that's been updated and a lot of the concerns addressed. And we are looking forward to some of the projects that are coming down the line. And there'll be a lot to talk about over the next few months.
Next, we are going, was that the end of it?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
We are moving on to Councilmember Cheney.
Okay, so I have some police department reports. All active officers were trained in anti-bias training for law enforcement. and all active officers were trained in child abuse and neglect. Corporal Schultz has been granted renewal for academic, firearms, CEW, and field training officer instructor certification. And Officer Darby has been granted renewal for the same thing, academic, firearms, and field training officer instructor certification. Officer Eccles completed radar operators course, and Officer Engels completed, Haley Engels completed police administrative assistant training and civilian supervisor training course. There were 391 dispatched calls in May. There were 50 citations issued, 136 warnings issued, 14 adult arrests, and 4 juvenile arrests. Good news from the department, we have been able to fill one of the ranks with the addition of Officer Jared Marshall. His first day was June 5th. We look forward to moving him through the field training process and ultimately having him fill his position in patrol. Major Mitchell attended the Memorial Day ceremony at Memorial Park. He said it is always a very nice ceremony and a wonderful remembrance to those who have sacrificed so much to make our country the excellent country that we enjoy. The Memorial Day Parade was also a very nice event, and it was great to see the community involvement in the event. I look forward to having the department participate in all the city events and continue to engage our residents in these positive ways. That's all I've got.
Sounds good. I'm moving over to Mayor Pro Tem McCarron.
Had a very nice conversation with Mish last week. He brought me up to date on things that were going on in town, and there was a lot going on. Very happy to be associated with the Economic Development Department. I'm looking forward to some good things and a good working relationship, I hope. We're planning to meet again this week where I can get some more detail on the status of Main Street. We really didn't have time to cover that in detail, and that's one thing that concerns me. I'm observing a lot of activity there, and I just need to find out more about that before I can report on it. But nevertheless, we had a good conversation. The blue truck is no longer, it looks like. All the decals are off the windows and the things are done, so I'm kind of sad to hear that, but according to Mish, there's plans for the wine shop, gourmet shop to move up there, so I don't know whether that's gonna happen or not, but anyway. A little bit disappointed with that. Anyway, I was also disappointed that I was unaware of a grand opening this Saturday and at Ron Dollar's carriage house. I did get a notice from Mish at 3:30 on Friday afternoon. And if I could be there at 10 o'clock, that would be great. Well, that's not enough time with all the stuff that's going on in town, particularly this time of year. We had the Taneytown History Museum with the Hudson Show. We had the Wine Festival, which was very well attended. I went down there for a while, looked great. I saw Beth didn't get to say, Beth was so busy, I didn't even get to say hi to her. But it was a very good event, and also attended Terra Lions. They had a car show and a antiquities show. It was very interesting. Doug Kaiser, who lives out on Krause Mill Road, is a artifact hunter. And he had a table, a huge table displayed of artifacts found right around the Taneytown, Middletown, or Middleburg and Kemar area, which was absolutely fascinating. And it was just enthralling for me to spend some time talking to him and going through the stuff that he's found. He has metal detected in my backyard and found artifacts like a 3-cent piece, King George 3-cent piece, and some buttons and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that's not on the subject of economic development. But anyway, it just would be, we as many council members need to attend the business grand openings as possible. But we need more than 8 hours notice before we can get that done. That's the only criticism I'm having there.
We'll see if we can get council members included on the Chamber of Commerce's distribution list for stuff like that.
I think
And-
Mr.
and,
Tillman
there's
took care of
also-
that.
Also a question mark is why would we schedule a grand opening on Wine Festival Day?
Well, we don't schedule those.
Chamber of Commerce.
It was a Chamber of Commerce function.
Chamber schedule.
Commerce function, and I believe that you were already on the email list. You should have gotten those emails, and I will look into it if you did not. And I asked the president of the Chamber of Commerce this morning to go back and check and make sure that all of the council people are on their email list.
Well,
The notice went out about that at least 2 weeks ago.
I'm excited about the things happening in Taneytown, and hopefully we'll move forward.
And while those ribbon cuttings and grand openings aren't city events, we can certainly make sure that when Mish becomes aware of them, he blasts them out to council members.
You know, if we don't routinely copy the chamber too, I mean, that's important to, I mean, they're an important part of our community. And maybe, I mean, there should be a way that we could notify all the civic organizations, the chamber or the various church groups, or I don't know who you reach out to, but it's, I guess it's published on the website. I mean, people can coordinate that, the museum, all that stuff. Some stuff complements, but some stuff conflicts, and
Sure.
that's a hard call to make sometimes.
All good. All good with your report?
I'm finished.
Sounds good. We are moving to Councilmember Foster.
Okay, on wastewater treatment, we were scheduled to have a meeting with the treasurer, the city manager, and the director of public works, but it had to be canceled. So I'm looking to reschedule that sometime, what are we, halfway through June, in July. So if the city manager would give me some dates, we can move forward to that. That meeting is to come together and with a proposal from our contractor with how much a new site would cost so that I can present it to the state for a grant. On the 8th of June, we had Councilman Tillman, the mayor, and myself attended the ribbon cutting for the Habitat for Humanity homes. That was a very nice ceremony. On the 7th, the mayor, myself, and Councilman Tillman again attended the FSK graduation. And on the 14th, which is day after tomorrow, I think, believe it or not, I'm still hanging on to Silver Oak. The board is still intact, and we're just still waiting to see what they're going to do. But I have a meeting on the 14th. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll tell us then goodbye.
Yeah, finally.
Last on the list, we have Councilmember Fuller.
Okay, so as previously stated, we had our Memorial Day ceremony and the parade. They were great successes. We have learned that it doesn't matter how much candy we bring, it's never enough to hit the people at the end. So we're gonna have to really up our game next year. Again, as previously mentioned, 11th Annual Wine, Art, and Music Festival this past Saturday was a great success. It was a beautiful day. All the vendors were happy. The band was great. We had a decent crowd, considering I think there were some more events happening in Carroll and Frederick counties, and probably a lot of graduation parties. The estimated attendance is about 400. And I have to mention that with these events, we regularly hear nothing but fantastic opinions of how Lorena runs them. It was so organized. Many vendors came up, said they've never been to an event so organized, and so just everything was perfect. And we had people from Glen Burnie, we had people from Ellicott City. In fact, I have to drop off a raffle prize to somebody who is from Ellicott City and won. So I'll be doing that tomorrow, I think. The next event's going to be the Humane Society's Woofstock on June 24th. It'll be from noon to 3 at Memorial Park. The first movie in the park, it's going to be Top Gun Maverick. It's going to show at 8:45. And then that's that same night. And then our yoga in the park sessions will kick off on June 20th. And they run from 6 to 7 p.m. every Tuesday at Memorial Park through August 22nd, except for on July 4th and July 18th. And then we should be able to break ground on Bollinger Park this week, weather permitting. This will be the first portion of the construction, the entrance, parking lot, and trailhead. Interpretive signage has been ordered for along the trail, as well as a few site amenities like a bench swing that will overlook Piney Creek and a couple of other benches for along the trail. Memorial benches are available for those who wish to order one in memory of a loved one or a special occasion. They are $1,500 for an American-made black steel slatted bench with an arched back and a brass custom engraved plaque, and it will sit on a concrete pad. Then, let's see, I don't want to miss this. Independence Day celebration will be Sunday, July 2nd, beginning at 6 p.m. with the DJ, games, food trucks, and then the fireworks should be around 9:30. Hopefully the weather will maintain for that. And the next meeting of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board will be this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. That is all.
Excellent.
Sounds good. So we're coming up on adjournment. I just want to say one thing to our crowded audience today. There is the carnival in town from June 12th through the 17th, if I'm correct. Make sure you get out there if you can. It's a good event, supports our local fire department. Other than that, I am looking for a motion for adjournment.
We have one more thing. I think we have a MML meeting coming up this week.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday night, yes.
At Mount Airy. It's the joint meeting between Carroll and Frederick, so this
Yeah,
is
I've heard that Frederick might
kind
not
of
be coming
the
out.
gala, yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's joint.
And typically, we carpool, so I don't know whether you want to commandeer a city expedition or not.
Do you guys want me to drive?
You can drive. I don't
Tim, are
know
you
drive.
going?
I move we ride in the mayor's Tesla.
I'm planning to attend, so if anybody wants to ride with me, I can use the staff vehicle.
Okay.
If anybody wants to
I'll
ride,
let
would
you
be
know.
more than welcome as well.
I do too,
I'll
as
let you
long
know.
as you don't stay too late.
An early bedtime, too.
Other than that, I am looking for a motion of adjournment.
So moved.
I'm looking for a second.
I'll second that. Good, Jim.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned.